Welcome back, Phobia fans, to Planet Phobia. Today we're going to look at another 5 interesting phobias. So I hope you're having a wonderful day and keeping those phobias at bay. Let's get into it. Cumpaunophobia, fear of buttons. Name origin, cumpauno, Latin for buttons. This is the fear of buttons, whether on clothing or just by themselves. Not a very common phobia, this one affects roughly 1 out of every 75,000 people. This phobia closely resembles trypophobia, the fear of circular objects and holes. Many factors can lead to having this phobia. Common ones include being unable to button up your clothes when you were a child. This could bring on frustration coupled with classmates making fun of you for not mastering the art of buttoning your own clothes yet. Another cause can be attributed to inhaling or choking on a button in your youth. This could be very traumatic and an experience held on to for a lifetime. If you had to endure abuse from someone wearing buttons, your mind may have focused on the buttons. Now when you see buttons, it triggers thoughts of the abuse you suffered. It is also strange that scientists feel this may be an evolutionary design to fear circular shapes and objects, seeing that as holes or pits that represent something unknown. Phobics dislike the sight, sound, or texture of buttons, while others the material they are made of. Dressing up for special events, like a wedding or prom, causes great anxiety for some people. Pearls and other circular jewelry is a turn-off, opting for square or triangle shapes. Some phobics become nauseous at the sight of buttons, while others will feel the need to wash their hands if one is touched. Apophobia, fear of bees. Name origin, api, Latin for bees. This is another zoophobia and is related specifically to the fear of bees. To be weary of bees is very common. It is our defense mechanism since we know bees can sting us, and that's not very pleasant. However, phobics get extreme anxiety from just seeing them or hearing them buzz. If a phobic has an encounter like this, they feel the sensation of being stung. Many factors can shape and condition the responses our brains have to bees. Being stung or accidentally stumbling onto a beehive, or witnessing this happening to someone else. Overprotective caregivers constantly warning you to be careful of bees. Over time, the constant pleas to be careful or the reactions that others have towards bees can trigger this phobia. Typically, most of us lose the fear of bees when we leave our childhood, but that's not the case for phobics as the fear lingers into adulthood. Interestingly, the opposite of this phobia is apitherapy, where people use bee venom medically. This is an ancient practice said to help relieve nerve pain, osteoarthritis, and possibly Parkinson's disease. This alternative medicine will not be an apophobic's first choice. Gynophobia, fear of women. Name origin, goon, Greek for women. This phobia is the fear or hatred or both of women, and typically is seen in men. This phobia can be traced predominantly in men with unresolved mother issues. Abandonment or abuse caused by a strict mother is often the root cause. For some, this tends to go away in childhood. For others, this phobia will linger well into adulthood, where men view women as physical or emotional threats. Unfortunately, one bad experience with a woman can lead phobics to have a hatred for all women, creating a cycle that's hard to break. This phobia can also surface later in life if a man is rebuffed or insulted by a woman. This leads to the man having overwhelming thoughts of humiliation and rejection. This has the effect of mistrusting all women, even family members, sisters, aunts, cousins. This phobia makes for an interesting case study. Sometimes this fear deals primarily with becoming intimate. This in itself becomes the phobia and gives some men extreme anxiety. Sometimes never getting married and leading to a life of solitude. Historical accounts of Amazonian women or witches can trigger this fear. Perhaps the image of a strong, independent thinking woman is more than these phobics can handle. This phobia can be seen in the workplace, where men might lash out at coworkers or question a woman's authority. I like to think of this quote by William Thackeray: "Mother is the name God in the lips and hearts of little children." However, for these phobics, God has been replaced by a devil. Somnophobia, fear of sleep. Name origin, somnus, Latin for sleep. Sleep is a necessity. Most of us enjoy getting ready for bed and waking up feeling refreshed. but people with somnophobia dread the idea of falling asleep. Phobics fear what will happen to them if they fall asleep. They fear the lack of control as the subconscious takes over, not knowing if a nightmare is right around the corner. If focused on this idea, it can be very debilitating. Sleepwalking can be a major cause of this phobia, losing control of the body, which only happens after falling asleep. Also, sleep is the cousin of death. Many people associate one to the other. Talking while sleeping and embarrassing yourself or revealing secrets is another fear. Another cause is sleep paralysis. This fear-inducing condition comes on right as you fall asleep, gripping you in panic, seeing shadow people or having an impending sense of doom. Trying to scream out, but the ability to do so has been lost. Your muscles tense, your brain is awake, but your body is not. Fearing sleep, then being exhausted, can be a vicious cycle for anyone to deal with. Some folklore depicts a creature of the night resting atop their sleeping victims. As we spend a third of our life sleeping or trying to fall asleep, the symptoms of somnophobia can be severe. Sleep loss can have a negative effect on memory and mental awareness. Feeling sore in the daytime, being irritable, and exhibiting mood swings. Having a hard time to concentrate and feeling sick with low energy. Paraskevidecatriophobia, or Frigatriskaidekaphobia, the fear of Friday the 13th. Name origin, Paraskevi, Greek for Friday, or Frigg, from Norse mythology, who is the goddess for Friday. The number 13 has a lot of different meanings to people and has for a long time. When you add in the zodiac and numerology, there are many different superstitions. Add this number to Friday and some people can't handle it. Nearly 8% of all Americans have this phobia. Many people stay home, not going to work or appointments, feeling anxious the closer Friday the 13th approaches. Culture and religion play a major role in this phobia. The Last Supper depicts 13 members. Judas is associated with number 13. He betrays Jesus. In Israel, the number 12 represents the number of tribes. Adding 1 to that makes it unlucky. A famous origin for the fear of Friday the 13th is when the Knights Templars were tortured by King Philip IV of France. Also, lots of hangings would take place on Friday the 13th. 13 would be the number of steps to reach the gallows. Friday and the number 13 are rooted in our culture and traditions, going back to our ancient ancestors. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, comment on your phobias below, and we'll see you next time.